What's going on, everybody? Quarth here, and welcome back to another video. So just in case you don't know and you're living under a rock, Murder Drones is a series all about sentient drones murdering people. Keyword being murder, and as we know, murder is a crime. And I dare any of you to argue about it. So, my good friend Skelly, because Murder Drones is about murder, asked me this. What if all the murder drones were charged for their crimes? So, I figured I'd put that to use in a video. So in this three-part series, I will explain A, what crimes the murder drones will be charged with, B, what punishment they will receive, and C, if there's a possibility for parole. And who better to start with than, of course, our good boy himself, N. So let's cue the intro and get into the video. So let's start with the first obvious crime that N and all the murder drones have committed. Murder and terrorism. Murder because they've literally murdered thousands of worker drones, and terrorism because they've destroyed countless of colonies and literally made a spire out of drone remains in the center of the planet. So yeah, technically that could count as unlawful construction, but I won't count that because it's literally just a fucking pile of corpses. So yeah, I feel like N would only be charged with murder and terrorism considering he's part of a whole militarized group that came to the planet unlawfully to murder worker drones. Now, what could be the punishment for both of these crimes? Well, depending on the type of murder, it could either be first degree or second degree murder, aka manslaughter. First degree murder often is punishable by death or life in imprisonment without parole, and second-degree murder / manslaughter is punishable by significant prison terms, sometimes up to life. So, given the definitions between first and second-degree murder, with first degree being either willful, deliberate, or permitted, and while second degree is either intentional but not permitted, or extremely reckless, showing disregard for human life. I'm gonna give N first degree because he was contracted to kill the worker drones. So technically, yes. He would be charged with life in prison without the chance of parole. But what about the terrorism charges? Well, terrorism charges either are international or other sorts, with international being some jurisdictions retain the death penalty for terrorism-related offenses, and some require the federal acts of the US, which are offenses can carry up penalties up to life of imprisonment or death if a death occurs. And considering JC Jensen in Space is a company priorly owned by Australian descent, that would mean that it would be international. And considering that Australia doesn't have the death penalty, it would be considered that N would probably survive but would get life in prison for manslaughter. But would N have a possibility of parole? Well, once again, since Australia is the primarily base for JC Jensen in Space, in Australia, while parole is technically possible for some murder convicts, it is extremely rare and legally restricted from terrorism offenses, which this comes from the following 2017 law changes. A strong presumption against parole exists for anyone with terrorist links, requiring exceptional reasons for release, with some offenders receiving life sentences without parole. In other words, if N wants the chance of parole, he better have fucking Saul Goodman as his damn lawyer if he wants to get out of the terrorism charges. And before you ask, no, a crayon drawing of him saying I'm sorry does not count for any draw charges. So yeah, when it comes to N being charged with his own crimes, it would be extremely possible for him to get parole, but also extremely impossible. So technically a 50-50 chance of him either getting out freely or being sentenced to life in prison. But yeah, guys, that's going to be it for this video. I really hope you guys did enjoy. I had to do a lot of research on laws in Australia to do this video. So I hope you guys enjoy. Also, big shout out to Skelly for, suggesting this video idea. So go check him out. Show him some love. Also, go check out the Life Raft channel because he's also a part of that. Me, Lumi, and Skelly decided to start that. So if you guys want to see us do some stupid shit, you can go check out that channel right here. But anyway, guys, this is going to be it from me. This is Quarth, or Dan in Real Life, and I'll see y'all next time. Peace!